Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Star Wars figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at Darth Revan, and I literally could not be more excited to do that. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new Star Wars figure review goes live on the channel. I will try my best not to rush this, but I am dying to get this guy out here. As for the box art, up front an image of the actual figure holding both lightsabers. Probably the LED ones, because you can see this red glow being cast on his outfit. Below that, a metallic foil Star Wars logo, and down below, a glossy wraparound banner featuring some more figure photography, and purple or magenta as the accent color. Probably a callback to this lightsaber, I would imagine. I'm loving the simplicity of the smoky red background behind Revan on the banner. They could just tint that smoke different colors for future figures in the Legends line, and it would still keep everything consistent. On the side of the box, some more figure photography. Around the back, warnings, legal information, and Hot Toys store locations. So far, no Knights of the Old Republic logos anywhere on the box, and I've looked around pretty extensively. That's what the whole Legends thing is about. Now that Knights of the Old Republic is decanonized, this is what they had to go with. It's a licensing issue, I reckon, but I could totally be wrong on that. The slipcover, some more figure photography. Enough about the box. We're all here to see Revan himself. First in-hand impressions for him. Number one, that hood is going to require some futzing, but other than that, he feels nice and sturdy, and his outfit is chock full of detail for the armor. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box, and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first. What a blast from the past. I've not seen this rectangular base mold in years. Why? This is one of their strongest base molds, not just looks-wise, but functionality as well. You'll see what I mean. There's this metal grate flooring look top panel. This is sculpted plastic. There's these little grooves up on top so you can see straight through the base, some added depth. That's nice. Around the front, Star Wars and Darth Revan Legends on the nameplate. Got thoughts on this, we'll discuss that in the pros and cons segment. And a wide scoop adjustable crotch grabber. What was I talking about for functionality? Well, you can pop the crotch grabber anywhere you want on the base in these channels. So it's infinitely customizable. I hope they go back to using this base mold in the future because, like I already said, it's one of my favorites. So this is the coin. It's not special edition or bust this time. If you can't get the special edition, just don't worry about it. The coin is cool. It's made of metal. We've got Darth Revan on the front. It says Sith Empire down below. I like the color, but it doesn't even come with a stand. So how are you meant to display this? Having to go out and buy your own coin stand for your Darth Revan coin? It's not something I'm interested in doing. Out of his two lightsaber hilts, this one is my favorite. It looks so freaking mean. This is his purple bladed lightsaber. We've got two activation buttons. It's painted in this shiny metallic silver. But how does he hold it? These almost blades midway through the grip? They're going to dig into his hand, surely. Is there an in-universe explanation? Let me know down in the comments. His other lightsaber hilt is more generic looking. It comes across almost Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan-esque with this ridged pommel down below. There's a pop of gold up top, and it's a little bit longer than this spiky one to the emitter. Some of you all like these, I know you do. Hot Toys base-lit LED USB-C powered lightsabers. We've got a Hot Toys branded junction box, two cables working their way up to these lightsaber hilts, There's some LEDs inside of them. These are baselit, and they're painted and sculpted in the exact same way as the non-LED versions. So I like the way they look, but not the way they function. Anyway, you can remove this clip if you're not a fan of storing the junction box on Revan. Installing the other, now it's compatible with his crotch grabber. If I was ever going to use this, that's what I would do, because I don't want a bunch of stuff being stored on Revan. Technically speaking, if you wanted to get crazy with it and use the purple blade in the red hilt and vice versa, you can. The lightsaber blades are cross-compatible, but I'm going to leave them like this and display the lightsabers accurately. For a while there, they were getting really good with lightsaber blade saturation. They were getting brighter and brighter. It seems they've taken a few steps backwards, because that isn't red, Hot Toys. That's pink. You need to brighten up your lightsaber blades, because when you don't have them plugged in and the LEDs turned on, they just don't look very good. Watch out for the spikes on the purple hilt when you're installing the swooshing effect lightsaber blade into it. If you don't get it in between those spikes, you may bump into them and cause some paint damage, or just snap them off if you're really unlucky. I don't like these. At least they've shaded the leading edge so it looks a little bit more saturated on one end, but a lightsaber blade trail shouldn't be an equal fan all the way down. It comes across as though he's just swooshing it back and forth like this. If they wanted it to be an accurate lightsaber blade trail, someone recently asked me, what do I want it to look like? Well, to put it simply, like this. So there's a straight edge, then there's a curved arc behind it. You see that? How the hilt is flat and the blade is flat? That is what they should be doing. It's simple enough, all they need to do is angle that peg and then it'll be job done, mission accomplished. And lastly, a full array of hands. They're made of this soft rubbery plastic, so prying the hands open to then install the lightsaber hilts into them shouldn't be a massive challenge. Look at the detail. There's been almost no degradation in terms of the quality of the sculpt work from the prototype to the final production version. The wrinkling, the heavy texture, this knitted look about them, the stitching sculpted in. Then we get to the armor plating. It's metallic, it's shiny, there's gashes on the surface, and plenty of pitting and weathering. One more set, 2 relaxed open palm hands already installed on him right out of the box. What we're going to do now is get Revan himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Revan, quite frankly, is a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10. This is an incredible grail of a 1/6 scale Star Wars figure. If you're on the fence, get off the frickin' fence. Look at the darn thing standing in front of you. The proportions, the detail on the armor, the fabric choices for the outfit, the full fabric outfit. You can leave him in poses. He has so much working for him. Stop me if you've heard this before. Usually with video game figures, if there's not surface detail, collectors will just say, oh, well, he's from a video game. There doesn't need to be surface detail. Or if proportions aren't right, they'll say, well, he's from a video game. Proportions don't need to be exactly human accurate. I'm guilty of saying stuff like that. This time, none of it is necessary. No need to make any excuses for Revan. He is just that good. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Darth Revan's helmet. Or maybe we should start with the hood first, because it's getting in the way and it's riding up and it's driving me crazy. I'm not a good hood futzer. I try my best, it is wired around the front and underneath, but there's no wires over the top, even though there's a really visible seam there. They could have added a wire up top and then that would have helped manage the excess fabric for the hood. As it stands, I want it to sit like this. It won't do that. It rides up and it looks a little bit goofy. So removing it, for now, I will pop it back on, I promise. This helmet is sick. There's sculpt work around the back. They've even hit that with a silver dry brush. The red metallic is stunning. He's got this slim glossy black visor that looks like a separate sculpted inset piece of plastic, I think. And there's this shiny metallic silver for the mandibles and these front pieces. Silver chipping, scratching, weathering, a black wash in the sculpt work, all of that. It's probably one of my all-time favorite Star Wars helmet designs, and I finally have it in 1/6 scale. For those wondering what the neck looks like, there's skin texture on it. That's just reused from another figure. The neck isn't really meant to be visible. This is a really great cape for once. It's a lightweight, heavily textured fabric, single ply, it drapes no problem. There's pleats down the back, but wires in some of those pleats, in most of them actually, now that I'm feeling them. And we've got wires along the edges so you can shape the cape over his shoulder armor. It's pleated where it tucks into his outfit at the front, then it's held in place by these sculpted plastic PVC loops and buckles. They're pinned in straight through the cape. The way the bottom of the cape is tattered and slightly singed, that screams laser cutter to me. They could have grabbed some scissors, of course, and randomly done this. Why would you risk it? You could ruin plenty of capes trying to do that. Laying this out on a flat board, then having a laser cutter do this for you, by far the smarter and easier way of doing tattering like this. Plus the benefit, the byproduct of using a laser cutter, the singeing. Now it looks so much more believable, as though he's been walking through fire, or maybe it's been chopped up by a lightsaber. What's underneath the cape though? We've got his fabric shirt. This is just normal fabric. There's also a flap as part of the cape. That's where the hood has been sewn into it. And we've got the sculpted plastic armored cummerbund. The chest armor doesn't actually cover his back. It sits very low, and it slides into this cummerbund piece. Someone's not going to like me calling it a cummerbund. I'll go with waist armor from now on. The chest armor has some curvature to it, so he looks bulky. Then the shoulder pads are free floating. How are they attached? I can feel Velcro, I think. Yep, they're attached with Velcro. So if you want an arm position that's not possible with them on, you can take them off, dial in the pose, then pop them on after you're done. The shirt is all fabric, no worries when it comes to posing. The gauntlets are free floating and adjustable, heavily weathered. There's gashes and scratches. They're destroyed. There's even some pitting on the surface, with a black wash in that detail. There's gashes on his hands too, on the chest armor. Revan has been through some shit, man. This armor, it's aged, it's worn, there's a patina to it, and some subtle red shading in certain places. I wonder how far the chest armor goes down. I can't feel it through the waist armor, but there's a lot of it, so even if you flex him back, more sculpt work is going to reveal itself, and it's all been fully painted even underneath this waist armor. The chest piece is connected to the belt buckle via these PVC straps. I'm pleased to report there is no pleather on Revan. Then we've got almost like a wood grain texture for these inset pieces for the armor. Some braided ropes sculpted in, and a silver painted disc that's connected to the straps and his skirt pieces. I'm not sure if you can tell, I'm really struggling to describe all of this stuff. It looks like those straps connecting the real metal discs to the underside of his waist armor are made of pleather. I've looked a little closer, I've interacted with them. I don't think they are. They feel like some other kind of vinely material. So I'm going to stick by what I said, nothing on Revan appears to be made out of pleather. Unfortunately, none of his skirt pieces are wired. The front red one, which is pleated and tattered down below, has these channels on the back, so you could foreseeably insert a wire into it if you wanted. I'm not going to try that myself. I'm scared of adhered edges, because if that peels away, it's going to look very ugly. The textured weave on the fabric is so prominent that even though these pieces aren't wired, the layers grip onto each other, and that helps keep everything in place. See how tight this sash sits on the skirt? that's not being held in place by anything. When you peel it away, you can feel the grippiness, the friction of the two fabric pieces peeling away from one another. You'll see what I mean when you get your copy of Revan in hand. Underneath the skirts, he's got some baggy fabric pants on. That feels like padding. Weird. We'll see what that does for articulation a little bit later. They almost tricked me. For a second there, I thought this was two pieces of plastic sandwiched over his shin to form the boot guard. Because there's a channel down below. I'm not sure if that's coming across on camera. Right there, you can see it, the little slot. It isn't. This is sculpted. It's one single piece with the channel down below. There's some black paint in the grooves, in the crevices. The boot guards and then the boots underneath them, it's a split cut design, and they're painted differently compared to the rest of his armor. This is more of a coppery color, whereas down below we've got a silverish pewter with some warmer shading, a black wash, and some silver dry brushing. On the underside, sculpted tread with some speckling of grey paint over the top to make them look dirty. We've got to do it. Let's try out his LED light-up lightsabers. This frickin' hood. Around the back, this junction box can either sit on his waist armor, the lip of it, or you can connect it to his crotch grabber, which I suggest you do because the junction box puts a lot of pressure on that armor, and the last thing you want is scratched up paint applications for that copper-colored metallic finish. I'm using a battery bank. You can plug this into the wall if you want to. Flicking the switch, you ready? That's it. The LED lightsabers are turned on. There is a reason why Hasbro and other lightsaber manufacturers do not do base slit hilts, because it just doesn't look very good. If they'd have gone with a mini shrunk down LED strip inside the lightsaber blades like fusion reactors do, this would have looked a hell of a lot better. And now we've got to manage these cables. You can thread them through his gauntlets, but they don't tell you can put them through his sleeves in the instructions, so even they've given up on trying to hide the cables. What does this look like in low light, though? Let's find out. Better is the answer, but not by much. If you're someone who displays your figures like this, in complete darkness, so that your lightsaber blades can look more realistic and believable, then you might be happy with this. For me, I need the blades to look good even when the cabinet or studio or collection room lights are turned on. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I drew a blank with this. Who do you compare Revan to? We don't have any other Knights of the Old Republic figures at the time of filming this video. Maybe one day, but not right now. So I ended up going with something I had on hand. This is another video game Star Wars release from them. It's the Scout Trooper from Jedi Survivor with the Electro Baton and the Pauldron. As you can see, Revan is taller than the Scout Trooper. This doesn't tell you much, but if you're wondering how Revan scales next to a normal 1/6 scale figure, fingers crossed this helps. Going over articulation, starting off with his helmet. Let's remove the hood for maximum access. There's a ball joint at the base of the neck and another one underneath his helmet. But the helmet sits down very low at the front, so it's restricted going forward. Up, however, is no problem. He can look all the way up. We've also got swivel and tons of pivot side to side. I put the hood back on. I couldn't stand seeing him like that. His arms will go up to there. His shoulder pads are nice and flexible, going forward and back on soft ratchets. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going the full way, completely unhindered thanks to the fabric outfit. Then for the wrist peg, it's a ratcheted hinge and swivel. This, on the other hand, is going to be restricted. Sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic. There's nothing you can do about it. These straps aren't going to help either. Crunching forward to there, and I'm really pushing it. Going back to there, further than forward at least. Swivel, and some pivot side to side. His legs will go forward to there? Really? What the hell's going on under here? It seems like, yeah, they have. They've padded the thighs underneath his pants for literally no reason, because you're never going to see those thighs. They could have left the padding out. I might end up removing that padding. His legs will go out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee on soft ratchets going past 90. Lastly, a double ball peg for the ankles and a split cut boot design, my favorite combo. Going forward to there, going down to there, that's pretty much all the way. Then we've got swivel and some ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm terrible at futzing hoods. In fact, I know I am. This hood is a nightmare to work with. There's no magnets around the front to keep it pinned down. It's not even stitched in place around the back. If you pull it down, you cannot tell me that that doesn't look a hell of a lot better than this. It rides up, it makes his head look extremely tall. And don't even get me started on this massive seam line right over the top. This hood should have spent a little bit longer in the oven. The second annoying thing? Raise your hand if you saw this one coming. It's the thigh padding. So unnecessary. His thighs are always hidden by the skirt. Now, you could argue that they needed that padding to bulk out the legs so that the skirt held its shape. I don't think that's a thing. All the padding does is restrict his articulation. The third annoying thing is an egregious one. It's right up front on the base. Darth Revan Legends in brackets. This? No. The nameplate, all it needed to say was Star Wars and Darth Revan. The first cool thing is, I'm pleased to report, we're pleather free. No pleather on this outfit. The straps could have easily been made out of the shit. They decided to go with PVC. That was the right call. The second cool thing, the die-cast rings. It's a tactile one. When you're posing him and you come into contact with the metal rings, they feel cold to the touch, and that just adds to the premium vibe. The third cool thing is no screen printing, no rubbery material, no vinyl. Pure textured weave fabrics. They're lightweight, some of the bits are wired. You can pose Revan without any fear of damage or flaking or peeling or the material sticking to itself. That's not something that I get to say very often. Wrapping up on Darth Revan from Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, the video game, and also Legends because that's what they printed on the box. Get this. If you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll pass. No. You cannot pass on this. It is a must-own. If you're a Star Wars fan, if you like unique character designs, if you're a fan of Jedi Temple Guards or characters that flip-flop between Jedi and Sith and die and then get resurrected, this guy's got all of that. Do some reading, maybe even play Knights of the Old Republic. It's available on iOS now. That's how accessible it is. Then come back to Revan. I guarantee you, the more you find out about him, the more you look at this piece, the more you're going to want to pick him up. That's because he's just so inherently cool to look at. He comes across like a badass. He's chonky, the proportions look great to me. The armor is excellently well painted and sculpted, executed to perfection. And we've got wires in the fabric outfit where we need them. Would more wires have been welcome? Yeah, sure. But I am not going to mark this guy down because his skirt isn't wired. The only complaint I have, the one thing that really grinds my gears, is the hood. They should have spent a little bit longer stitching it in certain places to get it to sit naturally. Because I'm willing to wager that everyone who gets Revan, they're going to have his hood on. It's too iconic of a look, it's too integral to his appearance to not have it on top of his helmet. I used some alien tape to tame mine. Look the stuff up, it doesn't leave residue on fabric, that's why I went with it. Some alien tape underneath the hood to stick it down to his helmet, and a little bit around the back to try and pinch it in just a touch. So, at the end of this, I've already said everything I need to. He is a masterpiece. Hot Toys, take a bow, well done. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.